Where is he?
Where are you? Skull Rock. Do you know it?
Hello, this is Stacy reporting live from the Skull Rock broadcast. I am joined by
Hello, this is Megan. Welcome back to our Stranger Things podcast. Today, we have a super exciting episode for you. We have the long-awaited tattoo episode. So, this is going to be a blast. We have been having so much fun chatting with people about their Stranger Things tattoos. And we are super excited for you to hear all of these conversations. As you might remember, I do not have any tattoos. So
pure as snow on a winter's day.
Not yet, at least. So we are definitely going to see whether this whole process has influenced me to finally get a tattoo. But Stacey, you do have tattoos.
I do have tattoos.
Do you remember how many tattoos you have?
I think I'm in the 50s.
Okay. Yeah.
I always used to make fun of people that were like, I lost count. No, it happens. You know,
I can
with
imagine.
age.
For sure.
Yeah.
And what was your very first tattoo?
My very first tattoo, which shout out to my late mother for being so cool. I remember I went up to her. I was turning 18 and I was like, Mom, I want a shooting star. And I said, I want you or Alexis to design it. And like my reasoning behind a shooting star, two different things. One, you see two shooting stars in the movie Jaws. And I don't know if it was like put in there in post, but it's just really weird to see two shooting stars. And the second one is, and this did not age well, guys, but in the movie Jack with Robin Williams, Bill Cosby.
Oh, God.
Well, I'm sorry, guys. He makes a really good, like, speech about a shooting star, how, you know, they're not here long, but when they are, people stand back in awe and they, you know, make an impact. And I was always like, Bill Cosby, that's so moving. Now I'm like, oh, God damn it. But I always thought it was pretty. So my sister and my mom drew it up and I got a blue shooting star on my hand.
Oh, wow.
Which a lot of people are
hand
like,
tattoo for your very first tattoo.
I went balls in, you know, like, and I remember I had to go to New Hampshire to get it. It's nowhere in Mass, which I, looking back now, I get why a lot of shops.
How old were you?
Like 18.
Okay.
Like I got it on my 18th birthday, which at the time you think you know everything. And I remember like a bunch of artists being like, your parents are approving this, blah, 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 blah. And the tattoo stigma back in the early aughts were a little different than it is now. And I was being stubborn, but I ended up getting it done. And I remember my dad was like, this is the last one you're ever getting. And I'm like,
oh, God.
Sure. But I was really glad this was the only tattoo I had when my mom was still alive. And then I went hog wild. Definitely, you know, go to a shop, find a shop that you just vibe really well or at the right artist. My tattoo artist since then has been my good friend Shane Murphy from Crown of Thorns Tattoo. We all know me. I get my hyperfixations going with different movies and actors, and I give the most outlandish requests, and he knocks them out of the park. And I have a pretty high pain tolerance. You know, I get kidney stones and a lot of stuff like that. So I'm noticing now as I'm getting older, the pain's hitting a little differently, but I'm basically covered. My thighs, my legs. I started with my legs first because I was like, oh, you can cover those up easily. That's where more of my horror tattoos are. And I have a lot of portraits. I'm known for always getting portraits. My hands, my arms are tattooed. So we will see. But right now I'm kind of fooling around with the idea. I need to see the movie first, though, because with my luck, he's going to be an awful, awful person. But like that poster of Gladiator 2.
Gladiator, yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. That crazed look in JQ's eyes. And I know a lot of people are like, how many JQ tattoos you're going to get? I have multiple Kyle MacLachlans. Like, I have multiple actors many times. I have Ted and Sam Raimi multiple times. But I was like, man, that would be really nice, you know. And Shane has this beautiful ability of doing color portraits, black and gray portraits, and then sometimes putting a pop of color in a gray and black portrait. So we'll see. The last one I got was Steve from season 3 of Stranger Things on my wrist. That was last February. And that was my first wrist tattoo. And that was spicy.
Yeah. I think it would be cool to do like a black and white or black and gray portrait, but like red eyeliner or something
They
like that.
see, this is why
Yeah.
we find. This is why we because I have a tattoo of my late mother when she was a teenager, and I remember I was like, "All right, black and gray is fine," because they age a little bit better than
Yeah.
color portraits. But she's wearing a necklace in it with a gem, and I was like, "Could we make the gem red? Just that
I
little
love
pop of
that.
color."
Yeah.
So I think
That would be cool.
that'd be cool with his guy liner going. But
Yeah.
my first Stranger Things tattoo was a Billy tattoo. I didn't use the greatest reference and stuff. Shane did an amazing job, but looking back, I kind of wish I would have gotten lifeguard Billy. That's on my leg. It's much smaller. I don't really talk about that one as much. Love to get another one. But my next one after that, if I'm remembering correctly, that was my Eddie tattoo of him doing the devil horns. And my
Mhm.
friend Kate in the UK, she captured audio because this was his first Comic-Con, the notorious first Comic-Con. And he was blown away, and you hear him talking about how amazing it is. And I'm like, he saw it. But I got that on my arm, and I got that 4 days after Volume 1 aired.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
everyone was
insane.
like, you got the drug dealer tattooed on you? I'm like, fuck yeah, I did. So I then did that. I then got Eddie Munson. It's based off of Suspiria Land. There's a beautiful print that she made of Eddie and Ronnie Dio. And I have a print of it. And I kind of did my own version of it on my forearm. Yet again, black and gray with a little bit of blue and red, a little bit of pop of color. I got that. And then the ones that I'm probably most proud of are the ones, what part of the body is this?
I guess like the back of your forearm.
The back
I
of your
don't
forearm?
know.
Yeah, I'm always like, when someone goes, where is that? I'm like, back of my arm,
Yeah, back of your lower arm.
lower arm. So
Yeah.
I got Steve, Scoops Ahoy Steve, because that's a must. And then I got a matching one. They're kind of on diamonds of Eddie, Battle Eddie. And the Steve one was spicy. Jeanette was a witness for that. I was like, oh, okay, this is feeling a little different. And then I got Eddie that April. And that was the one that I talked about where it was 6 hours and Shane's a perfectionist. It shows. But finally I was like, we're done. And then I puked. I puked in a Gatorade bottle. And then I slept for like 18 hours. And everyone was like, man, like that bad. I'm like, that bad. But after I got that, I then decided last summer, and this kind of pulls on the heartstrings depending on the time and I don't know how I'm feeling. I might tell Joe Curie about this. I got season 2 Steve, your favorite kind of Steve,
Yeah,
with his
he is my
glasses
favorite.
on my lower upper arm, I guess. And that was last August. And the last time I saw my dad, he his mind was slipping pretty quick. He actually pointed to it and went, Steve. And I went,
Yeah.
you know who he is. And then at his funeral a few weeks later, a relative thought it was Patrick Swayze. I told Megan that, and I was like, you know, when you're just so done, you're just like, I literally went, yes, it is. It's Patrick Swayze. And I walked away. I was like, it's him from Dirty Dancing. But I can't even. But I got that. Then I decided to get Steve again. I'd love to get a Robin tattoo eventually.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
But yeah, I was thinking about for a while about getting a gator tattoo, but I had to ask one of my most feminist left-wing friends. I said, is this bad to get this character? And she goes, no, because he has a redeeming arc.
Yeah.
You know, and you're not like glorifying this character. And it was after what happens to him.
Yeah.
No spoils here.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about getting it. Unfortunately, I was too sick to get it this summer. So that's on the chopping block. And like I said, maybe Gladiator 2 JQ, but I would love to get a Robin tattoo just because this show means so much to me. And Shane does such a great job with portraits. I have shown JQ all of the tattoos I have with him. He really liked the one on my back of my forearm.
Yeah.
So it was cool showing him that and stuff. And he's always just such a nice guy. I mean, I'm sure it's a little weird seeing your face tattooed on people, but he's always like, you know, wow, that's great dedication. You know, probably that's his lingo for being like, holy shit. But just so nice about it. You know, people are always like, oh, what if you stop liking this or that or that? And I'm like, I got the tattoos for me. You know, they're beautiful artwork. I'm covered in artwork at the end of the day. And I think it's a lot of fun. But, you know, a lot of the kids at the school I teach at, my older kids, they're like, how old do you have to be? And I'm like, you need to be 18. You need to go to a shop, not a kitchen. I learned the hard way. And you need to make sure it's something that you know you're going to like. Because I know the biggest problem with a lot of people, and I'm sure you're the same, is looking at it going, am I going to love this like 20 years down the line,
Yeah.
And just use your sunblock, take care of them,
Yeah.
and it's really nice. And it's a great conversation starter. One of my favorite things at these Fan Expo and Epicons, I'm sure they're going to be full of them, is seeing these different versions of these tattoos of these characters we love and striking up a conversation about them.
Yeah. That's been such a fun part of just doing this episode because we have already talked to some people. We are still talking to some more people today, but we'll put it all together. But we've had some really great conversations already about these tattoos and why they're meaningful to the people. We've had some great conversations about the tattoo artists and why they chose the tattoo artists. So good recommendations there. And we are talking about the pain level. So we've got a little scale that we're asking people from 1 Demogorgon to 10 Demogorgons. How painful was that particular tattoo, which has been helpful for me for my research.
This particular, like I would say the Steve one, which is on the matching arm, I would say that was 6 Demogorgons, and I have a high pain tolerance. But I was like, this is spicy. This one, I don't know what it was. Maybe I just wasn't feeling my best that day. It was like 11 Demogorgons.
Okay. Yeah. Turned it up to 11. That's appropriate.
Yeah. And I've never tapped out. I always, Shane always says I sit very, very well. He always says girls sit better, which I'm like,
I believe it.
We can take pain.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just I've noticed the back of the calf was a little spicy. The top of the foot was spicy. But now that I'm getting a little bit older, I didn't think the wrist was going to hurt at all. My eyes looked like meatballs. I was trying to keep talking to Shane. I'm like, and then what happened? And I'm like,
yeah.
So yeah, definitely 11 Demogorgons. He's always like, oh, I'd love to touch it up and, do this or that. And I'm like, leave it alone. Leave it alone. You're not touching it. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So the people who get their skull and their ribs done or like the inside of their arm, more power to them. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is kind of cute that I'm thinking about getting a star, and that was your first tattoo.
Look at that kismet.
So we'll see. But we have lots of fun conversations for you to listen to. So let's get into it with our first one. All right. And we are joined by Jeanette. So welcome, Jeanette.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So Jeanette is a close friend of Stacy's. Do you want to give her a little intro, Stacy?
This is my ride or die, Jeanette. Met her way back in the day at school. We clicked. We just have the same sense of humor and zany taste in movies. And we're going to be chatting a little bit about her Stranger Things themed tattoo.
Right. And it is a little bit familiar because what I see here is that you guys actually have matching tattoos.
You don't just get a matching tattoo with anybody.
That's true, man.
No. So your tattoo is an Eddie Munson quote. The Shire is burning, so Mordor it is.
Yes.
And you have 3 little bats from Eddie's tattoo as well. So tell us a little bit about this tattoo and why it's meaningful to you.
So, Stacy and I have been through a lot together and been there for each other through a lot. And we've talked each other into doing a lot of fun, costly things together when maybe we should have been saving money instead.
True.
But,
YOLO.
Yeah,
I guess.
it's about the memories, man.
So after, that season aired, that episode aired, it just started to become something we would say to each other. And pretty sure Stacy said it first because, we were trying to convince each other to visit each other, to do little things like, I don't really know if I should, but, things at home are a little crappy right now and I really could use a break. And, Stacy would be like, well, the Shire is burning. So that's where it started. And then she used that quote to get me to go to New Orleans, everybody.
And what did you guys do in New Orleans?
What did we do, Stacey?
So basically I was like, dude, they booked Joseph Quinn. And this was 2022 when he was it was just blowing up.
Yep.
And I remember Jeanette was like, are you serious? And I'm like, dude, come on. And I go, I already bought your ticket. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's go. And she's like, Jesus Christ. And
You
I
know
went,
what she did to me a few weeks before?
What's
We were
that?
talking about celebrities we would travel for and who we'd go to cons to together with and all that. And she said like, yeah, well, when Joseph Quinn comes to the US, you better come with me. And my eager little best friend ass said, "Oh, of course. Any day, anytime, I'm in." Little did I know it would be like a month later or less. I feel like it was 2 weeks later. I was
yeah.
like, "You knew. Did you know this? You knew."
Right away, I was like, guess what, baby doll? He's coming to the States. And then
She's like,
literally, I was like, I didn't even give her a chance to respond. I was like, I bought your photo op. We're doing this. And she's like, And I'm like, don't worry. We're making memories. We're fine. And I would just always tell her, like, don't worry about the cost. Shire's burning. And Jeanette, like, why don't we talk about how perfect your hair looked right before the photo op?
how dare you bring this up on the podcast?
Yep.
How dare you? Okay, this is actually one of my fondest memories with Stacy. So everyone knows before you go into a photo op, you maybe check your phone, check your mirror, just make sure like your makeup's good, your eyebrows aren't flying everywhere,
Of
your hair is
course.
in place.
Yeah.
You practice your little smile. We're all the same. I know we all do it. And we all know once you get in there, it may not go as planned, and that's also okay. But I was very excited. I had my hair nice. I had my makeup done. I had like my collar of my jean jacket ready. And he put his arm around us. And, any normal girl fan in the world would be ecstatic, except right before they clicked the picture, I felt his hand messing up my hair. And you can almost see the disdain in my eyes. So Daisy and I just die laughing over that all the time. And if I'm having a bad day, she'll just send me a zoomed in picture of his peace sign in my hair, and she'll be like, "Is it as bad as this though?"
Like equally the worst and best moment of your life.
Honestly, and it's so funny because that was one of the best trips of my life. Oh my goodness, we had
So much
so
fun.
much fun. Yeah, and that's when I met Brandy and Andy. Oh, they're so lovely. And just the four of us had such a blast. Oh my goodness. It's such a good memory.
Yeah, it seems like you guys had a great time, and that's really cool. And did you have the tattoo before that or after that?
We got it. Go ahead, Stace.
It was after because like literally we got home from New Orleans and I was like, dude, he's coming to Philly. You know, it'd be funny if we dressed up as bats. And she's like, but, and I go, Shire's burning, life is shit. Let's just do it, YOLO. And basically what happened was after quite the brutal summer for poor Miss Stace, it was Stranger Things Day weekend, right? And that's how you surprised me with it?
Yes. Yep, that's right. I was like, guess what we're gonna do this weekend? And I had booked it with our great friend who does amazing work on Miss Stacy. Well, on everyone. But yeah, Shane Murphy he's amazing. His work is great. I plan to get more with him with Stacy coming up, some horror tattoos. I asked Stacy, like, can I kind of design it? Like, I'm not an artist, but I said, like, can I give like a rough layout of what I think it should look like? And then he could take it
Mhm.
from there. And it was kind of a collaboration, but we have obviously, I don't know if you're going to post a picture of these tattoos after.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool,
we
cool.
will.
So yeah, everybody will get to see it, but it's cool. We did the Stranger Things title font. We have The Shire is Burning, and then some more Dora It is upside down. And
Yeah, that's
it's
super
just I
cool.
have it. For me, it's on my right thigh, and I love looking down at it. It makes me so happy, and it reminds me of, well, the trips we've taken. It reminds me of how Stacy and I say that to each other to get us to do fun adventures, and how we're there for each other always. Occasionally, I do look at the bats, and I'm like, oh, poor Eddie, poor Eddie.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. That's why he probably got like PTSD when we came in cackling and flapping our fucking wings dressed as bats. Poor guy.
Oh my goodness. I can't say I'd do that for just anybody, Stacy still. So
I know. Friendship tattoos forever and always, man. It dressing up as, fucking bats, which
Mhm.
it was funny. Jeanette went, can you just look really freaked out in the photo? Give that man an Oscar because he looks so uncomfortable, and I don't even think it was acting. But yeah, I got mine on my arm, and it was funny because I went first, I believe. And I feel like the older you get, the more painful tattoos are. They all hurt no matter what. But
Mhm.
the I wasn't saying anything, but the expressions that I was making with my face, I'm looking at Jeanette because I got mine on my left arm, kind of in the ditch.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
just went, yep, this is a little spicy. It's a little spicy. So you were a trooper.
I will say mine is on my right thigh, and there's a little meat on that thigh, so that was a buffer, so mine didn't hurt that bad.
Which, speaking of tattoos, Jeanette, obviously this wasn't your first one. What other tattoos do you have?
Okay, good. I'm wearing, like, shorts and a dress, so I could see them all pretty clearly right now. You know when you just, like, forget,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
you got, like, a million? So let's see, my very first one, my left rib cage, I got, Blessed Are the Forgetful because Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind is my favorite movie, and, actually, our college friend Kat did that. She, learned to tattoo from her dad, and, she
Wow,
had a
that's
kit
cool.
at school, and she did that one for me. Yeah, right right on our couch, uh, at our apartment, and, a lot of people would be like, "Oh my god, ew," but she was very clean and sanitary. It wasn't just like she pulled a needle out of a bag,
Right. Yeah.
you know? And then, she actually did I have 3 little bats, nothing to do with Eddie Munson, years ago. I
Sure.
have 3 little bats on my left foot. I have a pumpkin with fall leaves, over it on my right foot. I have Ghostface and Casey Becker on my left thigh, done by the amazing Josh Bodwell. He's in New Orleans now, but I got this
Oh,
when
well.
he was in PA. He's amazing. He does a lot of Star Wars tattoos. Definitely look him up, Josh Bodwell. And then my
Cool.
left, no, yes, my left calf, my good friend Rob Corsino. He is an amazing friend, and he did a popcorn tattoo. I don't know. A lot of horror fans know it now, but it wasn't a very known film growing up for me, and I've been watching it since I was a little girl, since way before I should have been watching these movies. And there is something called the shock clock in that movie. And when the shock clock screams, a horror movie plays at this theater. I am not the best at explaining movies,
This is why we're friends. Yep.
but just look up Popcorn 91, right, Stacey? 91?
You got it, girl.
Okay. So I wanted that shock clock tattoo for a very long time. And my friend Rob really just put it together beautifully. So that's, and I definitely want more, but tattoos are expensive. So little at a time for me.
And your tattoo artist was Shane Murphy, who is Stacy's tattoo artist.
Yes, that's
And
who did the Shire is Burning one.
that's in Massachusetts,
Yep.
right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Crown of Thorns tattoo.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Jeanette, and be honest.
Uh-oh.
Be honest, girl. On a scale from 1 to 10, what was the pain scale for the Shire's Burning tattoo?
Oh, the pain scale for that one?
Yeah, that one specifically.
1 to 10, you said?
Mm-hmm.
3?
1 to 10 demogorgons. That's what we were
Yes.
going to say.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 to 10 demogorgons.
Did you just say
Hold on.
3?
Three demogorgons.
That's it?
Yeah. What? You want to know my foot one? Because it was 11. My feet were 11 demogorgons.
Demogorgons actually
my
turned
calf,
into 11.
to be honest with you, my calf, the popcorn one, that was 25 out of 10 demogorgons.
Really?
Oh,
Okay.
this calf
Thoughts are
sucks.
just- yeah, but I'll tell you what, girls, if you or anyone listening has thick thighs, get tattooed on your thighs. You barely feel it.
Got it. That's good to know.
I can't.
Now I'm terrified to do the ditch in my arm ever like seeing her go through it.
That was like,
Yeah.
that was 1,000 demogorgons. Like, I literally, my eyes were the size of meatballs, and I'm just looking at Jeanette, and I'm like,
Was it your most painful tattoo, Stacey?
oh, far from it. My worst one, which was so funny, my uncle asked me last summer, he goes, which one was your most painful? And I pointed to my Eddie Munson one on the side of my arm. And I said, this one, I said, I usually sit like a stone. I have a high pain tolerance. I go, this one, it took about 6 hours. And I go, after I was done, and Shane's like a perfectionist, which is beautiful. But finally I went, we're done now. And then I left the shop. I threw up in a Gatorade bottle. And then I went home and I slept for like 16 hours. And everyone was like, is she okay? And that was when I was like, to quote Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon, I'm getting too old for this shit, you know?
I remember.
But
that.
meanwhile, when I met
you were-
Joseph Quinn, I'm like, look at this. I'm like, and he's like, oh, this is my Joseph Quinn impression. That's so like, when did you get it? And I'm like, April. And instead I want to be like, I threw up in a fucking Gatorade bottle because of you.
It's worth it. It is beautiful. I
It
think it might
is.
be my favorite of yours. Yeah, it's a good
Jeanette
one.
was with me when I got the Scoops Ahoy Steve one.
Love that one.
And Jeanette goes, getting kind of quiet, huh? And I'm like, stop talking.
I do want to throw something out there. I forgot to mention this earlier, but Stacey, good call having me go to New Orleans and Philly because this man is in the new Fantastic Four and forget it. Forget it. We are done. Sorry, Stranger Things fans. Marvel fans are now going to eat this man alive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and spit him out.
mhm. Yeah, yep.
Well, this was fantastic. Any advice to me if I am getting a tattoo soon?
Clearly don't do the ditch of your arm.
Yeah.
And don't start with feet. I would say,
Okay.
you know what's funny though, and I'm pretty sure every person who loves their tattoos will say this. I'll tell everyone how bad something hurt, and then I'll go get the same spot done on the other side. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm looking at my right calf, like you're a little naked. We'll put something there. You know,
Even though it hurt. Yeah.
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 They
That
have
makes
the
sense.
numbing cream now, and a lot of people will tell you, yeah,
Whoa!
Stacey's already yelling. You know, they'll say like, "Oh, that's what's the point of that?" The point of that is so I'm not in pain. That's the point of it.
Yeah.
So
To reduce
I'm
the
not
pain a little bit.
but again, it depends on the spot. Like
Yeah.
if it's 3 demogorgons, 5 demogorgons, maybe no cream. But if we're going 11, 12 demogorgons, no.
If you're throwing up in a Gatorade bottle, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Maybe a little numbing cream would have
Yeah.
been helpful.
Now I'm just going to ask you how many Gatorade bottles it hurt.
That can be our scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's more than pain. That's like emotional damage.
Yeah, that was my World War III. That was bad.
Oh my goodness.
Well, thanks for coming on and to chat with us.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm glad I was your guinea pig, guys, and I'm very
Yes.
excited to hear all the tattoo episodes. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it'll be really cool. All right. So for our next little mini interview, we are joined by Jerry Joestar, which is Kurt McKee, 21 on Instagram. So we are so excited to be chatting with you. I know we both have followed you for a while. You have really cool cosplays of all of Joe Curie's characters, and we are so excited to talk to you about your tattoos because you have a bunch of Stranger Things tattoos. So do you want to go through them really quick for us?
Right. So I have a Scoops Ahoy Steve portrait, a Eddie Munson portrait, the Hellfire Club Demon, Eddie's pick, the scoreboard from Scoops Ahoy, Dart, and I have the bat and sunglasses from season 2 Steve.
That's amazing. Oh
That's
my
awesome.
gosh. And they're all so beautiful. So I know you've sent us photos of most of them. So we'll definitely be sharing them. And then we just were talking about before we started recording that you have some of Joe Curie's other characters as well. So do you want to tell us about those?
I have a Keys and Kurt tattoo, which are right next to each other. And I
Yeah.
also have some of his lyrics.
Oh, that's
Incredible.
amazing. What are the lyrics?
I thought that change was bad, but you have changed my mind. And I have, I will be your fool.
Oh my gosh.
That is
That's
so
so cool. I know, Stacey, you're so jealous.
I really am. I want to crawl through the screen. That's how much I love those tattoos. They are so
Yeah.
killer. So I want to ask, like, what is it about these tattoos that are so meaningful to you?
Well, I've been like a Stranger Things fan for years, like back when it started. And originally, like many, we not really much a fan of a Steve until like season 2. And then I saw like season 3 Steve and I was just obsessed. Like I loved the aesthetic of Starcore and Scoops Ahoy and the way he looked. And then season 4 came along and we got Eddie Munson and I related to him so much, which I know sounds weird because of what happened, but being that kind of outcast and people not understanding your interests, and I also ship him, so
Oh, you know, we do too.
but I wanted like something that represented both of them because they both mean a lot to me. So getting like the portraits of them with stuff that symbolizes them and their relationships with other characters as well just like really meant a lot. And I'm hoping, because I've left a gap for something for season 5, so I'm hoping to fill that with something from that season as well.
That was really smart. Yeah, Stacy, you need to like leave some room.
Run out of room.
Were these Stranger Things tattoos some of your first tattoos, or did you have a lot of tattoos before that? Do you have like an estimate of how many you have?
I have so many tattoos. I've got like a whole like half sleeve for Legend of Zelda. I've got like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I've got Star Wars. I've got like something else like to do with another musician. And then like I've got Steven Universe, Sonic the Hedgehog for my football team I support. And then after Stranger Things, I got One Piece stuff. So
Okay.
I'm still going.
Love it.
Yeah. So what was your very first tattoo?
I got the quote off the Manchester City badge, which is back when it used to be the eagle. And it means like pride in battle. And that was my very first tattoo I got.
That's so cool. And then I also want to hear about your Star Wars one.
I have Cal Kestis from Jedi Fallen Order. I have Crosshair and Omega from the Bad Batch. And I have the Jaeger eyes on my thumbs. And I've got the Fulcrum Ahsoka symbol on my hand.
Super cool. Thank you.
That's awesome. Man, you're in good company because huge Star Wars nut over here pointing
I
to
love it.
Megan.
Yeah.
Why did you choose your tattoo artist? Especially for the ones that have to do with your Stranger Things and Curia ones. Why did you choose that particular tattoo artist, and who is your tattoo artist?
My tattoo artist is Hannah Lee, which she's really known through the Stranger Things fandom and the Star Wars fandom. So when I originally found her on TikTok, and I discovered that she weren't far away from where I live, I went and got my Star Wars tattoo of Crosshair and Omega. And from then, I've just been going to her. And then we discovered that we both love Joe, and we kind of built up like a little friendship from that. We're always talking about Joe. We're always like listening to his songs when they come on. When it was like me and her in the studio while Eddie was getting finished, we just literally put Joe on, and we was just listening to all these songs while we got Eddie finished, because it was just us two.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Yeah. And we know that she has done so many beautiful Steve portraits and Eddie portraits. So we are just huge fans as well. Like, I feel like I need to like book a trip like to come get a tattoo from her, because they're just beautiful. Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10 Demogorgons, how painful were your tattoos? Like or since you have so many, like you could tell us which ones were the most painful, which ones were less painful. I'm trying to do research here for myself.
I have to say, my legs weren't too bad. Like, Steve and Eddie are full-on portraits, but they didn't bother me that much.
Okay.
I think the worst is that I have on my Legend of Zelda, I have Hyrule Castle, and it's straight in the armpit. And that really sucked.
Yeah.
Really bad.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, even like getting like the Straw Hat Jolly Roger in my hand wasn't even that bad. Like,
Okay.
compared to having that near my armpit, that sucked.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, the
So
worst pain I've had.
no
I can imagine.
armpits.
Yeah, no. You notice they don't go up for me? Like, no. Whew.
Oh
You're
my
brave.
goodness. Well, that was so cool, and I'm so glad that we got to talk to you. Anything else that you want to share?
That I just hope that when we come to season 5, that we get like a badass Steve moment, and hopefully we'll have some Eddie.
Yes. Fingers crossed, my friend. Fingers crossed.
Yep. 100%.
We're staying delusional up
Yeah.
here, so
Mhm.
no worries. But yeah, I'm sure that we're gonna have a badass Steve moment. So, and he's just looked great so far in all of the
Yes.
content that we've seen so far. So it'll be fun. Well, it was good to talk to you, and thanks for making the time for us.
It's good talking to you too.
All right. So without further ado,
Yeah, guys, everything's been going super smooth. No technical issues on Stacy's part whatsoever. So without further ado, Megan, take it away.
We have another guest to talk to right now. So welcome, Marina.
Thanks. Thank you guys so much for having me. This has been such a fun time.
Already, and we haven't even started
I know.
yet.
Bless
I'm
your
having a
heart.
blast.
Yeah.
So, if you do not know Marina, Marina also has a Stranger Things podcast.
I do.
So, just give us a little shout out real quick of your show.
Sure. So I co-host another Stranger Things podcast called Star Court Study Hall. And I co-host with my best friend of 20 years. Her name is Amanda. And we've got like all 4 seasons up. A lot of bonus material in there. We do some history. We try to do some science stuff, you know.
Love that.
Yeah, it's a blast, and we've kind of learned a lot doing it. And Star Court Study Hall, like point blank,
Yeah.
period.
Check it out. You should hear our recent, like our episode that came out today. We like broke down those science classroom photos at
Oh
the
my
end.
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
a hot mess, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna have to listen to Star Court Study Hall because apparently they did an episode about this whole light thing. So
Yeah, and you know, there was a rock thing. There's like geology, so I'm like, man,
Yes.
we're gonna need to get on the
you
Stranger
guys need
Things
to
rock
get on
episode.
the rock episode because I was struggling with the rocks.
I'm like, yeah, rocks. I have to say, Marina, actually, your podcast was one of the first podcasts I
Ooh.
ever listened to with Stranger
Wow,
Things.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I was at my job and it was like a snow day or something. So I was just doing data entry and I was blasting your podcast
Oh my
one
God.
day. And literally, I turned towards my coworker and I'm like, this is so goddamn cool, you know?
Oh,
And
thanks. That's so
so-
sweet.
got some good feels here, man, because I have to say, you guys really do your research to a T, and you
Thank
guys are
you.
just a riot to listen to. So, you know,
I think we all kind of get along here. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
for
We all
sure.
seem to be a riot to listen to.
yeah, totally.
Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We do have a blast. And honestly, like, it's been a pleasure over the last couple months, even listening to you guys. I was so happy to find you and discover you. And it's just, I don't know. I just love the little culture that all the little pods have around
Yeah.
Stranger Things. That's cute.
It's fun for
Little
sure.
family, you know?
Little one.
So today, even though we're definitely going to have to talk to you more at some point, so
Agreed.
we can do something else soon. But today we're here to talk about tattoos.
Yes.
So you do have more than one tattoo?
I have multiple tattoos. I have one Stranger Things tattoo. Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
So
Mhm.
tell us about your Stranger Things tattoo.
So my Stranger Things tattoo is like a year old. It is yeah. It's really cool. It's like one of my favorites. It's kind of, I guess I could describe it because, you know, this is not a visual medium.
Go for it, girlfriend.
We will post a picture at
Okay.
some point. So
All
there will
right.
be like photos to go along with the show. But yes, tell us about it just briefly.
Okay. So it's pretty much the silhouette of the kids on their bikes. It's like season 1 classic imagery. It's got Mike and Elle, and then it has Dustin and Lucas. And there's like a horizontal line that kind of runs like up the backside of my forearm. And it's all black. There's no color or anything like that.
It's gorgeous.
I
Thank
love it.
you.
Yeah. It's
I
so
have
simple.
a really talented artist. Yeah.
It's simple, but like very meaningful because it really, you know, accurately shows that season 1 vibe, I would say.
yeah.
So why was this meaningful to you? Why did you choose that design?
Well, so the weird thing about tattoos that I've found now that I have several, the first time you get a tattoo, I feel like you really build it up in your head. You're like, you know what?
yeah.
This needs to be super meaningful. I need to assign a lot of meaning. I'm putting something on my body permanently. So I was very intentional about my first tattoo. But this is like my most recent tattoo, and I haven't been tattooed since. And I would say, like, with that first one, the intention behind it was like wanting to make sure I remembered something that would be easy to forget as time passed, and I wanted to make sure I didn't forget it. So even if I kind of forgot like what the tattoo that I got first literally means, I kind of knew what it represented in the grand scheme of things. And I kind of felt that way getting this one too. I was like, you know what? 20 years from now, when this show is done and over with, and we're all much older, and all the actors are older, and this is something that like maybe our grandchildren are watching. Like, what is that old show that those people watch? And it doesn't exist anymore. I was like, I just want to remember it forever, and like what it meant to me now, even if the show doesn't mean this to me when I'm 60 years old.
Yeah. That's amazing.
I really
Yeah.
like that. I love that there's so many memes out there too, where they're like, your first tattoo has to have meaning and this and that, and has to symbol this and that. And then they're like, oh, the reason why I got, a turtle wearing a kimono eating pizza is because I thought it was funny, and it's so right. But I do agree. I think that this show is going to be one of those cult shows like Star Trek was to our parents and stuff, one of those cult shows. But I do like that you got it because it was important, and it is a big part of your life. So you did mention, you had another tattoo. How many other ones do you have?
So they're all on my arms.
Okay.
I'm just going to count them in real time. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? I think I have 7.
Lucky 7. Look at you.
I have 7. Yeah, they're all on my arms. I haven't like ventured beyond the arm. I don't know. And I try to be symmetrical about them. So like,
I like that she's got flowers on her other arm. I love that.
Yeah. So I'm like, every time I get one in one spot, I'm like, gotta put one on the other arm.
Okay.
Can't be imbalanced. Have to be
I
symmetrical.
love the symmetry. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if I counted correctly, I have 7.
Okay.
I think.
Cool.
Do you want to tell us about your first one?
Sure. My first tattoo I got it after just like kind of dealing with something in my life that, like I said, I really never wanted to forget that I had dealt with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess the goal is to not ever put myself in that situation again. So I was like, how do I commemorate this? So I got a tattoo. I was like, what a better way to never forget something than to put it on me permanently.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was why I got my first tattoo. It was just never return to the situation no matter what. Because I feel like with time, sometimes I guess like you forget, you're like, maybe I will go back to that situation because you're not sitting in it. You're not like living it in the moment.
Yeah.
So I just, was like in a moment of, if I ever think about doing this again, I know, do not do it again.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
So are all of your tattoos by the same artist, or do you have multiple tattoo artists?
Oh, that's such a good question. So my very first tattoo, that like the OG, that one is from a completely different artist. I'm gonna be honest, that was a little bit of like I booked it with an artist who I got the name of through a friend of mine, and then when I actually got to the studio, they gave me somebody else, and it was very disconnected. And then every tattoo since then, I've used the same artist.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm fortunate enough to have my husband, who's a graphic designer, and he's like very skilled in that way. So he designs them all, and then I go and I bring them to the tattoo artist.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah, and she's just fantastic. She's based in New Jersey. She's just like really talented with her line work. She's precise. She's gentle, which is nice.
Very light-handed.
Very light-handed. Yeah, and I don't think I would go to another artist. I feel like attached to her.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Even though it's one line, I'd say it's gorgeous. Like the line work is absolutely gorgeous. Your flowers are absolutely gorgeous. And, we all know that tattoos hurt. The people that are like, it didn't hurt at all. I'm like, you're a liar. But on a scale from 1 being 1 Demogorgon, which is nothing, to 10 Demogorgons, which is a slaughter, on a pain scale, how many Demogorgons were your Stranger Things one?
My Stranger Things tattoo, on a scale of 1 to 10 Demogorgons, as far as like pain, honestly, I don't know, a 4. Really wasn't. I haven't had. Do both of you have tattoos?
I do not. So this whole like process is interesting because I definitely have considered it so many times. So Stacy joked that I'm gonna get one by the end of like season 2 of our show.
Okay. Put yourself on a scale. You'll do it. Yeah. And they just. I think it depends. I mean, it's definitely all about like where on my body is this happening.
Yeah.
Closer to a bone, gonna hurt.
Yeah.
Where there's like more flesh, not going to hurt as much.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, I think Jeanette told us that the thighs were a good place.
Well, yeah, I mean, my most painful ones have been the ones that I've gotten closer to my wrists
Yeah.
because there's bone, like it's all bony. Like I remember when they tattooed this bottom rune here on my wrist, I felt this I felt it in my pinky,
Yeah.
which was just like nerve endings, but yeah, anything closer to a bone. So
It's
I've tried to
spicy.
avoid bones. Yeah. So I'm gonna say 4 demogorgons.
Okay,
You're a trooper,
not
man.
bad. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like the wrists and everything though,
Mhm.
so it's like maybe I'll just do it and know that that's like the worst that it could be.
Or your rib. That would be
Yeah.
not great.
Yeah, no, I
No
don't really
ribs?
think that that would be a great.
No.
No.
No ribs.
I was
No.
telling Megan too, I feel like, not that, we're ready for the nursing home, ladies, but I feel like with age, they seem to start hurting more. Like I've been getting tattooed since I was 18. And my last couple, I'm like, that's a couple of extra demogorgons, man. So, I don't know. So do it now, Megan. Do it now.
Yeah, I got to do it
That's solid advice.
now or never. Well, it was so nice to have you
Thank
on.
you both.
Thank you.
We would love to have you on again someday because we would just love to pick your brain about this wonderful show that clearly means a lot to all of us. you
Yeah,
know?
this feels like a collab. I don't know.
Yeah,
It feels
I
like
think
it could work really well.
I think so too. I'm sure we would get along with Amanda as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
100%.
100%.
We're gonna
It
get
would
her
be
in here.
fun. Okay.
Well, thank you both. It was so nice to talk to you.
It was great talking to you.
All right. So, good morning, Brandy. How's it going today?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Good. Welcome back to the podcast.
Yay.
If you haven't already listened, we did an episode back towards the very beginning with Brandy. It was called It All Comes Back to Susie Sue, and it was our music episode. So that was a lot of fun. So definitely check that out. But of course, we're going to talk about tattoos today, and you have quite a few. So do you want to give us just a brief rundown of all the Stranger Things inspired tattoos that you have?
Sure. So I have a lot more JQ specific themed tattoos. But my Stranger Things one, I have a big arm piece of Eddie as Cass, for those who enjoy that fan theory. And then
Love it.
I have a steady one or steedy one on my
I see you.
yeah, on my calf. And the cool thing about that one is it's this really great artist out of Delaware. Her name is Anna. And she had previously done a steady tattoo I saw on the internet. So when I started going to her, I mentioned it and she was like, let's do it. And I gave her absolutely 0 parameters. I didn't know what it was going to be till I showed up that day and saw the outline. And she picked that scene, that big boy scene in the Winnebago. And it was so well done and beautiful. And I highly recommend going to her if you want custom tattoos.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's not super far from me. So
Yeah,
maybe.
no, it's a cute drive and it's totally worth it. She is a spectacular artist. And then I have a teeny little 1986 on my finger
I love that one.
for Eddie. And
our
I also
boy.
have, and then I have JQ's autograph with a bunch of bats on my neck.
Nice. That's awesome.
And then also in the realm of just JQ, I have a custom Time Wasters tattoo on my hand.
Love that one.
And I have a quote from CB Strike for his character as Billy on my chest, of like above my heart. And it says, it's people that don't know how to live.
Yeah.
My heart.
Yeah. And that's just a reminder to me how I take that is, to live intentionally,
Yeah.
purposefully.
So that's really cool. So that's definitely so meaningful to you. Can you tell us a little bit more about like maybe the meaning behind some of it or why the Eddie tattoos are so meaningful to you? Like what kind of that connection was?
I was peak JQ fever when I got the neck tattoo.
Love it.
And that was a big one because it was the first, and I never imagined myself getting a tattoo on my neck. Like never. but it's just where I felt that it should go. And then afterward, it was very much just a representative of who in the world knows where life is going to take you. You just don't. But to embrace it and to be open to it, and to, any version of yourself that you're going to become that maybe you didn't see coming, but life is short and shitty sometimes. So when it's not shitty, embrace it, enjoy it.
Yeah, celebrate that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Words to live by. I loved your post on Instagram about it too. You were like, tomorrow's not promised, eat the cake, get the tattoo, have fun, because life's really short.
And especially, that thing that other people don't understand, that fandom or that book or that character that brings you joy that other people scoff at and don't understand and people think are stupid. It's not. It's rad. It's what's keeping you going. See other people happy and let them live.
Amen.
I love that. Yeah, that's so important.
So clearly this wasn't like, your JQ tattoo wasn't your first tattoo. Can you tell us about some of the other tattoos you have that aren't Stranger Things or JQ related?
I have a lot.
You do
A
have
lot. A lot. I'm upwards. Somebody asked me to count very recently, and I'm at 39.
Ooh,
Nice.
And I had to write them down because then I'll be like, oh, I forgot.
Yep.
I have.
Yeah, you need to get like Andy. Like, come on, Andy, count them all.
I'll forget the ones on my back I never see.
Yeah.
AFI is my favorite band. I have a couple AFI tattoos. I very recently got a beautiful portrait of Nancy from Nightmare on Elm Street 3 on my calf. It's huge. It's gorgeous. That is also done by Anna.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, she does portraits so well, and they're very hard tattoos to do. So if you find somebody that can do them well, like, hang on to them. And I have a Bowie tattoo. I have Beetlejuice, Michael Myers. Your I guess your classic horror tattoos, Trick or Treat. I have a Little Mermaid one just to mix it up.
Yeah. Well, what was your very first tattoo? I love hearing about that.
AFI. It's
Okay.
they have an album called The Art of Drowning. I think it's 99 or 2000, but they have this weird bat that Davey Havok kind of drew on it. It's like an emblem. And I got that between my shoulder blades when I was 18.
Nice.
And it looks that old. I promise you. That's why I don't wear tank tops. It needs redone.
I love it. Yeah, you should get it touched up so that you're like proud
We all
of
have
it.
ones that you look back on and you're like, ouch.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and once it's old enough and it's really like settled into the skin, you'd be surprised what they can do
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
far as cover-ups.
Because your
Yeah.
arm, you're like down
Yeah,
here.
this
that's a cover-up.
entire sleeve is 2 cover-ups. That was just an exercise in idiocy. It's like one tattoo's facing this way, the other one's facing the other way, and
It happens, man.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
cover-ups are great. Yeah. And I mean, they're not, people are like, oh, they're permanent, but they can remove tattoos pretty easily these days too, I feel like. So,
Yeah, and the process is actually getting a bit easy. I mean, Stacy,
It
you've
is.
done that, so
Yeah.
you know, it blisters pretty bad, doesn't it?
It blisters pretty bad. You get bad heat blisters, but overall, it
No, I don't
fades
keep
it
it.
enough that you can either get it completely removed after several sessions, or you can get a cover up and you would have no idea something was even over it. So,
yeah, that's good.
But even if you do, it's the journey.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Memories, man.
Yeah.
Everyone has that shitty tattoo. They're like, "Did you see this? Look how stupid this is."
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
be like
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it becomes a reminder to not do
Yeah,
that
you look
thing
at
in
it and
your
I'm like,
life.
"Oh, to be 24 again."
Yeah.
I know. Ugh.
So you talked about Anna. Who were some of your other tattoo artists and how did you choose them?
I've had a few, and the problem is with that too is like my first one retired, and then there is a shop near me, kind of a famous shop. It's been there
Mhm.
for a long time, and it's just been artists, in and out of there.
Okay.
And I had one. His name was Herbie. He was also fabulous, but he ended up moving to Harrisburg, and I'm not driving that far.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there is another great artist who did my cast, my hand, my neck. And his name is Robin. And I can also give you the link to kind of link their work.
Cool.
Yeah.
but yeah, I for a long time I was just going into that shop and dealing with the artists there, but Anna DM'd me, so I was like, okay.
Why not?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And she's fantastic. Like I'll give you the her Instagram, but she's super talented, adorable, lovely. Like you would feel very comfortable. Even if you're first time, you feel very comfortable going to her.
Nice.
Yeah,
She's great.
super cool.
Super
So-
talented. You should see some of her other portraits.
Her portrait.
She
Yeah,
did this Freddie Mercury one, which is insane.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna have to look that up because her portraits are really,
They're
really
gorgeous.
stunning.
They're gorgeous. She's won so many awards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
And
super
she's
cool.
very well priced as well
Which is nice
for what you get. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, all right. So why don't we? Because I'm curious about two different tattoos. We're doing a pain scale from 1 Demogorgon, which is like nothing, to 10 Demogorgons, which like call the ambulance. What would your scale be on how many Demogorgons was your Cass Eddie and then your neck tattoo?
You're going to be surprised.
Yeah.
So the neck didn't hurt at all. I was really stressed out and really worried. So like, I don't know, 3 Demogorgons for that.
Okay.
Wow.
I was really worried like it was going to be bad. So, but it wasn't. It almost tickled, which was
Okay.
very odd. The arm though, Cass, I had 3 sessions with.
3. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I banked somewhere between 10 and 12 hours total on it. And I would say like 6. I've definitely had Demogorgons. I definitely have had ones that were worse.
Okay.
What's your most painful one?
My elbow.
Oh,
This.
yeah.
That's
And this
so
is like
cool,
my
though.
Nightmare Before Christmas tattoo.
Yeah.
That was right on that bone was intense.
Yeah.
But I will
bet.
say a lot of that has to do with the tattoo artist.
Okay.
Are they
heavy-handed.
heavy-handed? Are they digging in? You know what I mean? Some artists go easy on you and they take longer, and other ones are just getting in there and getting out, and it's probably going to hurt more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a whole
Yeah.
crap ton of variables.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think just like how you're feeling that day in general, like we've talked
Yeah,
about too.
you don't go tired, don't go hungover,
No.
don't
Yeah.
go insanely caffeinated. You know what I mean? Like those things matter, and you can bleed out more too
Yep.
due to that stuff. So
Yeah. All right. Well, it was so cool to talk to you about your tattoos. We love them so much. And thanks for chatting with us about it today.
thank you guys.
All right. So for our next interview, we are joined by Karen, and we are super excited to talk to Karen about Eddie Munson bat tattoos. So you got the Eddie bats, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So we love that. Can you tell us a little bit about why that was meaningful to you?
So obviously Eddie was one of my favorite characters, and especially with season 4. But I was the weird kid in school that didn't have friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my own versions of Eddie growing up, especially senior year. So it's kind of a tribute to Eddie himself, the parts of me that I relate to for him, but also in honor of the people who helped shape me when I was still figuring out who I was and how to feel comfortable with that.
I love that so
I
much.
love that. It goes to show you what an amazing character that was, that people either, identified being Eddie or knew people like Eddie while growing up. They were the misfits, they were the outcasts. So I just absolutely love that for an explanation.
Yeah.
But I need to ask, was this like your first tattoo, or are you tattooed elsewhere, and what do you have?
This is actually my 4th tattoo.
Ooh.
I had to think
okay.
about it.
Yeah, everybody's been like counting, like, okay,
Mhm.
let me check.
I've got 6 now, but that one was my 4th.
Okay. So what was like your very first tattoo, if you want to share?
That one was, I have always on my foot. And nobody warned me that the foot is one of the most painful places to get a tattoo.
It's spicy. Yep.
It honestly, it felt like a bee sting repetitively in
Yep.
my
Okay.
throat.
Good to know. Good to know.
I had more issues staying still because of ADHD than actual pain.
Yeah.
Hmm. That makes sense. And then you've gotten some since your Eddie tattoo. So what are some of your recent ones?
I've got a moon with a black cat. My friend's
Oh,
got the reversed. She's got the black moon, but like just the cat outline.
Oh, that's cool.
well, that's cool.
I really like
And then I
that.
also got a star with a heart inside for Felicia Day. She drew that one at Comic-Con.
Oh, I love that. She's from Supernatural.
Okay.
That's
Oh yeah,
awesome.
Karen loves Supernatural too.
She,
I do
she was
know
the
that
first
about you.
person in media like that actually where you got a nerdy character and it wasn't just a book nerd
Exactly.
or a
Ooh.
girl.
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
nerdy girls were just book nerds. They were goody goodies, you know. This is a girl who played Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice.
Kind of like the female Eddie, she knew all
Yes.
the LARPing and stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah, definitely
That's
a fun
cool.
character.
Stacy has told me what seasons, like the first 6, I should watch.
I say watch the first 5 because that's what it was originally
Yes.
intended.
Okay.
And then I'll even admit I kind of fell off and watched on and off, but I told her that I think Megan, as someone who likes the Vampire Diaries, that likes Stranger Things, feel like seasons 1 through 5 would be kind of her
Oh, yeah.
vibe.
Yeah. And I think if I knew I only needed to watch 5 seasons, that would be easier to
Mhm.
like commit to than what is it,
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
11 or something?
It's up there.
Something crazy.
15?
15.
Yeah.
Oh
15.
no. Okay, well 5. I'm
Yeah.
watching
After
5.
5.
After that, you can kind of treat any seasons past that as mini seasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like mini seasons for like separate ways
Okay.
because not all the seasons are connected to each other.
Yeah.
And
That's
some of them you can
helpful.
skip. Like you have
Yeah.
to be in a certain mindset for the Leviathans.
Oh,
and
God. You're bringing back memories.
I
Ah,
don't like it, but I love the dick jokes. So
yeah, the
it's
dick jokes are great. I mean, gotta love a great dick joke. So I have to ask Karen, why did you choose your tattoo artist? Who did that tattoo of Eddie's bats, and why did you choose them?
so I got it at it's called Clockwork. It's downtown from me.
Okay.
He had already done 2 of my others, but he when you go into his tattoo shop, it's very heavy metal, dark, spooky shit.
Yeah.
It's got the general, it's not bright or anything like that. It's the general vibe of somebody who's not gonna, make my tattoo cutesy because I'm a girl.
Mm.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Even then, he had just assumed that I got the bats because I like Halloween.
Okay.
I was like, I mean, you're not wrong.
You're like, I love Halloween, but there's a deeper meaning to this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a multifaceted tattoo.
There you go.
So
But
if
he also did my tattoo that I have for Buffy and the Magicians. So he's already done
fandom.
non-girly fandom ones for me.
yeah,
I dig
Yeah.
that. That's awesome.
that's really cool. Are all of your tattoos fandom related? I mean, I guess the cat and the moon weren't
The
really.
cat and the moon aren't, and then I have a dream catcher
Oh,
for my
cool.
kids. But other than that,
love
the rest
that.
of them are fandom.
Love that.
Cool. I love the cat idea. I have a group of 5 of us that are friends from college, and we talk all the time about getting something all 5 of us would get, but it would be a design where everybody's is a little bit different from
Yep.
each
Cute.
other's.
Yeah.
I can send
And
you some of the extras that we didn't go with.
yeah,
we've got a
send
bunch of
me.
different ones.
That would be really cool because we none of us have a tattoo. So I really want. I know. I really want to get a tattoo.
It's a gateway drug.
Yes,
really
and
is.
I want to get something the Stranger Things sort of fandom related. But
Mm.
now I feel I need to get my tattoo with them first, so that can be all of our first tattoos. So I'm gonna be
Exactly.
guys, the pressure's on.
Gotta
We
do
gotta
it,
do
man.
this.
Peer pressure. Come on.
So
You
yeah,
gotta join the team.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So speaking of me doing research for my very first tattoo, so is it on your arm? Is that where the bats are?
It's on my inner my inner arm, like closer up towards my armpit.
Oh,
Ooh,
wow.
and
That's a
Stacy said that
spicy.
that was really
It
painful.
wasn't super bad. It just started getting uncomfortable the closer we got to my armpit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, who was just telling us the armpit was really painful? Was that
Yesterday.
Jerry?
Yeah.
So we have a rating. So from 1 Demogorgon to 10 Demogorgons, what number would you assign that pain level?
Probably like a 3 for most of it, but like the
Okay.
last little bit maybe would have been a 4.
Okay.
And then what was your foot tattoo like your most painful?
Yeah. Actually, no. I think the most painful probably would have been when they did the color for my feathers on the dream catcher, because that's like in the
Oh.
middle of my arm.
Yep.
Okay.
And I've heard the color also hurts more than just doing the black.
All right. Well, that was all of our questions. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yeah, it was a blast.
Yeah.
I'm glad I actually got to finally see you guys face
I
to face.
know.
I
Yeah. So
know.
we got to see you for a second, but
Yes.
this was still great too to be able to chat.
Great chatting with you, you know?
Thank you so much for coming on the show and telling us about your Eddie tattoo. So for our next guest, we have Cherie joining us today. So we are super excited to chat about your tattoo, Cherie, but welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. So you have, I think, one of our favorite tattoos. So
Mhm.
it is Steve Harrington and it is so colorful. Just tell us a little bit about it.
So I have been trying to think of a Stranger Things tattoo to get for a while. And then I love tarot cards. So I was like, I'm just going to get Steve as the babysitter in a tarot card. So
It's
I love that.
perfect. I also love that too. And I feel like there's so much fun fan art of like Steve with the tarot card like design, but your tattoo was so unique.
So, Cherie, why would you say this tattoo is meaningful to you?
I love Steve Harrington. I've loved him since the first season. And I know it's like, I don't know, he wasn't meant to be the good guy. He was meant to be like the bad guy, but then, Joe Keery is just lovable, so they kept him. So I fell in love with him, and I feel like he's had one of the best like character arcs on the show. So I wanted to commemorate that. I wanted a Stranger Things tattoo, and he's my favorite character, so I had to get him.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, he has one of the best character arcs, I think, in television, like, let alone on the show. It's like so good. So I definitely relate to that for sure. So was this your first tattoo? Do you have a bunch of tattoos already? Where was this on like your journey?
So this was actually, I think, my 29th tattoo.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that's awesome.
I have a ton, but a lot of people don't realize it because a lot of them are hidden. But I just knew I wanted it on my arm. I wanted him to be like in the forefront, and I just couldn't decide where on my arm. So I just told my artist, I was like, "You tell me where you think it looks better." And he was like, "Well, it's all about where you want it." So I was like, "I want him to be noticeable." So I just got it on my inner forearm so everybody could see it.
Yeah, I love that because it's like everybody can see it, but also you can see it really easily. Like it's just seems like a great place for like
The colors
something
pop
that
so well, too.
something that you want to see all the time. And I mean, some tattoos like you're not really gonna even be able to see it unless you're like looking in a mirror or something like that. Like I feel like it's a great like visible place for it. And yeah, the colors are amazing.
Who is your tattoo artist that did this particular tattoo?
So his name is Joe Pepper. He's in Rhinebeck, New York. He has his like own little studio, but I've been going to him for years. Probably since my early 20s. I have a few like, good artists that I go to that I constantly will check out, but I hadn't gone to him in a while. And I was like, how do you feel about doing this? So he was completely down. He completely captured everything that I wanted. I sent him a few pictures and the style, and I was like, okay, go wild. And he did.
He knocked it out of the park.
He does
absolutely.
amazing work.
Oh,
Okay, so I do not have any tattoos, so I'm kind of doing some research here. And I do really like that placement for the tattoo. So what would you say on like a scale from 1 Demogorgon to 10 Demogorgons? What was the pain scale for this tattoo?
Um, Honestly, probably like a 5. I mean, if you ask Joe, he would say that I would probably be more because I cringed like the entire time. But compared to my other ones, it wasn't too horrible. It was like towards the top of the tattoo and towards the bottom, towards the wrist. Like that's where it was like, ugh. But like towards the middle, it wasn't as bad.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Was
See, I
it
like when people are transparent about the pain. The people that are like, it was nothing. I'm like, you're a
Oh
liar.
yeah, I want to cry half the time with my tattoos. There's places that I want tattoos that I know I can't get because I cannot handle that pain.
Yeah.
Not to scare you, Megan.
No, I feel like I have a pretty good pain tolerance though. So we'll see. We'll see once
Yeah.
it actually happens how
You
I
have
feel.
to get
but
one. You have
yeah.
to. And I
It's
and I
addicting.
need to be there for it.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, it's definitely in the cards probably sooner than later. So
Would you
we'll
say it's in the
see.
tarot cards?
Oh, yes. Maybe I should get my like steady tarot card deck and like
Girl, don't tempt me.
Oh,
Which was funny. Cherie was with us when we met Joseph Quinn in Philly. So she got to witness the bats. She got to meet Megan when I first met Megan.
yes.
She was with me when I was passing a kidney stone. And basically, I went up to Grace and I was like, Grace, you can't go to lunch. I'm dying. So she got to witness a lot of shenanigans. So
Yes.
she's a good egg.
Yes, it was great to meet you. And that was the beginnings of this podcast, really,
I
that
know.
weekend.
It was so excited to see like the start of it all. It was so
Yeah,
fun.
yes.
That weekend was traumatizing, but also one of the best weekends I've ever had.
Yeah.
Cherie also got to witness, and I know I've talked about this when I puked behind Jeanette's car, and I got back in and I said, nobody
Don't
look,
look.
and we back up. And as soon as Jeanette put it in reverse, it was zoomed in on the backup cam. And it was so perfect because I was like, well, that's just fucking
I
great.
need like a tally board like next to me of like how many
How many
times
times I bring
Stacy
that
tells
up?
the story.
Honest,
You're going to notice this about Stacey. I repeat stories, and if it's a story that I puke in, oh, you're going to hear it 100
Yeah,
more
was
it
times.
should be
the
like
Ready?
best.
Yeah, like Robin's board for Steve, but it's like how many times Stacy talks about puking.
Puke in the bathroom, so get ready, guys.
Yeah, but it was such a like I was so anxious that weekend because of the whole like, is Joseph Quinn coming or not? But then like it was all worth it because he made it and we got to see him and everything.
Yeah.
So it was
I almost didn't
amazing.
get my autograph because of how they ran things. And
He was so
He
nice.
was-
Tell this story, Cherie.
so Stacy, Brandy, Jeanette were in like a different section because they got their tickets. I wasn't told that I needed a separate ticket to get to the autograph. They didn't tell us until we had already left the event on Saturday. So I was going through a million different places trying to figure out how to get into that room with my friends. I finally got in that room and Jeanette was like, do you have your ticket? And I was like, no. She was like, you need the ticket. I was like, oh God. So I went up to the woman when we got to the front and I was like, I don't have my ticket, but I have, like, I showed her the QR. I was like, I bought this. So she was like, do you have anything to sign? I was like, oh God, no, I don't have anything to sign.
Oh
So
no.
I just went up to him and I was like, hi, I had a whole thing, so I can't get my autograph, but I just wanted to say hi. And I was like, oh, okay. And as I'm walking away, he goes, wait, do you want this? And then grabs a piece of paper or his picture and signs it. And then gives it. And I was like,
Oh,
I wouldn't have gotten it if he wasn't a sweetheart. So
yes.
An angel.
Yeah.
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 he
That's
was
amazing.
perfect.
Yeah. He's such a nice guy and it was such a fun weekend. So
It was.
yeah.
It was all worth it.
Yes.
It
It was
really
all worth
was.
it in the
Yeah.
end for sure. And we are so excited that we got to chat with you this
Yeah.
morning about your tattoo, and I will keep you posted on what happens. And Stacey, I'm like curious about what your next tattoo is going to be, but we'll have to talk more about that
Yeah. Oh,
because
I'm
I know you
excited.
always have plans.
Always big plans. Will I end up regretting them in about 20 years? Probably. But you know what? YOLO, guys.
Exactly.
YOLO.
It's
Yeah.
good in the moment. That's
All
what
right.
matters.
There you go.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Cherie,
Thank
and
you for
we will
having
talk to
me
you
again.
soon. So we have Eli joining us for our next guest, and we are super excited to talk to you about your sort of Stranger Things related tattoo. So give us a quick rundown of what you have.
So we all know Master Puppets, blah blah blah. But
Absolutely.
I don't have an emotional attachment to that song.
Okay.
However, I do have an emotional attachment to Nothing Else Matters. So
Mhm.
Metallica. And also, if you take the words that I took, which is the verse, trust I seek and I find in you, and all those words, it
Yeah.
applies to Eddie and it applies to Joseph.
Yeah.
So, I got the emotional thing, and then I got Eddie's guitar, and then I have Joseph's signature like in the guitar, so it looks like he signed the guitar.
Yeah, I love it. It's so cool. It's got the lyrics
Mm.
above it, the outline of the guitar, and then the signature inside of it. It's super
Yeah.
cool.
So Eli, was this were one of these one of your first tattoos, or do you have others?
Oh, I have so many others. Except for my forearms, everything is, yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Like, I do actually, when you suggested once, Stacy, of getting the tattoo of Joe Keery in drag, I want to get that on my thigh
so
so
bad.
badly, but money.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Money.
Beautiful.
So
That-
yeah.
That's such a good scene, and just I mean it's so cool like that movie and that moment in that movie,
Mhm.
and just it would definitely be meaningful, I feel like. So I think Stacy would be super jealous if you
Oh
got
yeah,
that.
absolutely. I'd have to run out
Yeah,
and get
but
one too.
that's like an $800 tattoo, according to my artist. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the tattoo, the Eddie tattoo was $300 alone,
Wow.
just
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
So, and my little ones, my sunshine from Joseph and my moonlight from Jamie were 120
Mhm.
each. Like,
Yeah, I believe it.
he does like good work, and he gives me a discount because I've been a customer of his
Nice.
for a hell of a while.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he needs to make money. So like he needs to earn
Absolutely.
a living. So, he gives me a discount, but also, and he'll get me into the studio like on off time, so it doesn't interfere with his other stuff. Because he said his studio minimum is like $120, and that's pretty much all he charges for little ones for me. And I'm like, thank you.
Exactly.
I have no money.
Yeah. Yeah. But so how did you find your tattoo artist, and why did you choose?
Honestly, this guy, I found because he worked at a studio that did walk-ins.
Okay.
Because
So it
my
was just
previous guy,
luck.
yeah, because my previous guy, who, if you saw my tattoos, well, there's a fun fan fiction story that you'd love, that me losing my V card to my tattoo artist.
Ooh.
So,
Okay.
yeah, fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the back of the shop while people were around.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. That does sound like the premise for a fan fiction.
I know. So he did my tattoos for like 10 years.
Okay.
Like a long time. But then when I transitioned, I was like, I can't go to you anymore.
Mm.
Also, you don't take walk-ins. It's a problem.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't wait 3 weeks. I might not have money in 3
Yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
I have
yeah.
money now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I looked up tattoo studios who do walk-ins near my apartment. I found he was the first one available, and that's just where I went. I have one that says I am stars and scars, and that was my first tattoo with him. And after that, I was like, well, I trust you, because if you can go on my chest where I have all these nerve endings from my top surgery and just be really respectful and not ask questions, but not like ask questions, but not be, a
You're respectful.
jackass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
then
important.
when I brought in the Eddie tattoo, he loves Eddie and he loves Stranger Things. Actually, I think Steve is his favorite, which, yeah,
Us
goes
too.
along with it.
Mhm.
But so he loved doing it. So I know that when it's something that he also connects with, it's great.
Yeah. That connection is cool. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing
awesome.
that.
Now we have a pain scale of 1
Mhm.
Demogorgon to 10 Demogorgons. 1's not bad, 10's the worst. For your Stranger Things tattoos, roughly how many Demogorgons do you think they were pain-wise?
0.5,
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay.
because they're happening on my chest, and because I had top surgery, I think all the nerve endings sort of like get off a cot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
don't like, I can go to sleep during chest tattoos now.
Wow, good for
because
you.
I just find it so relaxing and I don't feel pain.
Nice.
Yeah.
And not that
Yeah.
I don't feel pain on the rest of my body, because I have rib tattoos that I told my tattoo artist never let me do it
Yeah.
again because ow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, and calves were very painful as
Yeah.
well, but my chest and even my back can take a lot of pain. Like, I'm a masochist in life,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but it didn't, nothing. Like, I was contemplating this question when you put it out there, and I'm like, I'm going to be like this person who just doesn't feel pain, and they're going to be like, what?
Good for you. I love that. High
Yeah.
pain tolerance.
No.
That's awesome.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Not emotional pain tolerance, just physical.
Exactly.
Just the
Yeah.
physical. Yeah. And I like that doesn't really like scare me about getting a tattoo. Like I don't have any yet and I'm probably going to get one relatively soon, but like I don't know, the pain isn't really scary to me. I feel like pain doesn't really scare me. I feel like it's more like
Also,
I
it
just
depends where you get it
Yeah.
done.
Yes. And that's why we've been asking everybody so I can kind of like do my research. But like, I feel like just the indecisiveness and the permanence of it, like, is more why I haven't and
Mhm.
not like being afraid of the pain. It's so interesting. So,
Oh, I have one that never healed properly.
Mm.
And it's,
Mm.
one of those from 20 years ago, everyone was getting Chinese
Yeah.
symbols and it looked
yes.
ridiculous. But I think if I got it removed, it would look even worse.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of hoping I can like make like a mandala or something and just
Yeah,
cover it
Cover it up.
because
Yeah.
because it's awful.
Mhm.
Yeah. I had a lot of those in henna tattoos. I would get like henna tattoos all the
Adorable.
time when I was younger. So
So
people would
yeah,
always
like when I
think
was
that
in
they
my
were
when I
real.
was in my 20s, I just made bad tattoo decisions and
We've
Yeah.
been there.
yay.
Yeah.
The henna tattoo trend was helpful for me
Got it out of your system.
in
Yeah.
my youth. Yeah. Well, it was super fun to talk to you about your tattoo, and we will be talking to you again soon for a bonus episode about Jamie Campbell Bowers. So we're super excited for that, and everybody.
I'm keeping the research.
Nice.
Yes, you have been doing the research for us, which we're super excited about, and yeah, we can't wait because you did meet Jamie, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you met Joseph Quinn also.
Twice.
Awesome.
Yes, because you were in Philly.
Megan,
Yep.
I met you in line. You gave me
Yes.
steady pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. So we will be taking you in spirit to October. So to Epic Cons.
Mhm.
Taking everybody along for the ride.
Yep.
But all right. Well, we will talk to you soon. So we have Raisa here to talk about her Stranger Things inspired tattoo. So can you tell us a little bit about what tattoo you have?
Yeah, so I have the replica of Eddie's bats on my upper arm.
Nice. So we've talked to a couple of people that have Eddie's bats, and I love that so much. So
Mhm.
why was that meaningful to you? Why did you want to get Eddie's bats tattooed?
So for a really long time, I kind of hid my real personality from the world, and I was ashamed to be myself. But after watching season 4, I was really inspired by him. He's like my favorite character of all time
Mhm.
now, and how he just lets his freak flag fly. And I was like, I can get behind this message, it really is inspiring to me. And every time I look down at my arm, I am, I'm just like, I need to be myself. I'm comfortable in who I am now, and I'm showing the whole world that.
I love that so much.
That is so awesome. Now, was this your first tattoo or do you have other ones?
No, this is my 5th tattoo.
Okay.
Nice, nice. Do you mind sharing like what other tattoos you have?
Yes. So my first tattoo was on my foot. Ugh.
Just had somebody else say that they've got their first one on their foot and they were not very happy with the decision either.
So I have on my left foot, I have an anchor, and on my right, I have a shark. I love sharks.
Love that.
And I have a heart on my butt,
Nice.
and I have the sun on my rib cage.
I love that. Yeah. I want like a sun or moon or stars or something. Like that's what I've always wanted for. I have not gotten any tattoos yet. So doing some research here, we're like two polar opposites when it comes to tattoos. So it's been fun to chat about it. What about your tattoo artist? So who did your bats and why did you choose that tattoo artist?
So for my bats, I went to Mike Scholl's at Full Hearts, and they're close to me. But what makes it really cool is that their studio is in a treehouse.
Wow.
Wow. That's incredible.
He has been doing my husband's tattoos for a really long time. My husband has a lot of like sailor tats on him,
Mhm.
and he's been doing a lot of those. So it just makes sense. And honestly, it's the best experience I've had. Mike's been in the business for a really long time, really talented. He can do just about anything. And so,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Well, your bats are beautiful. And yeah, I feel like they are very similar. I mean, I think they're probably better than, Joseph Quinn's fake bat tattoos for the
Oh,
show.
thank you. Just the facts, which we've been asking for your bat tattoo. We have a pain scale: 1 Demogorgon, which was a walk in the park; 10 Demogorgons, like call the ambulance. How many Demogorgons, pain wise, were your bats?
I would say not even one. This was like my least painful one, and I actually fell asleep during it.
Damn, good for
That's
you, girl.
crazy. Yeah. So it's upper arm?
Yeah, it's right here on my upper arm.
That's so
Okay.
cool. Look at them. Oh,
Maybe that needs to be where I get my tattoo.
I think the key is as long as you have like a squishy part like that, and on my butt, like I didn't feel anything.
yeah.
Oh, I love that. Well, it was super cool to chat with you and connect with you over your bat tattoos. So, yeah, have you been watching the show long? Did you have any other favorite characters before Eddie?
I think the only other character I really like was Robin. I first started watching when I was in high school when it first came out. My mom is a child of the 80s, and I just sat and watched it with her, and I've loved it since then.
Love that.
Yeah, that's awesome. We appreciate you listening to the podcast, and we were super excited to get to chat with you today. So thank you so much.
Sure, thanks for having me.
So we do have some other people who wrote in to share about their tattoos. So we did want to give some more shout outs here, even if we weren't able to connect with them to be on the podcast with us.
Mhm.
So one of our friends, is the Hawkins Reporter on Instagram. And we did want to talk about his amazing tattoos because he has a geometric mandala demogorgon on the side of his head, which he said that going into his appointment, he was nervous because, I mean, it's his head. But
Yeah.
apparently it did not hurt, even though the session was about 5 to 6 hours.
Wow.
So that's insane. I mean, his tattoos are amazing. Just having the demogorgon right there on his head, just
Mhm.
so cool. So he loved it so much that he went back to the same artist to get his throat tattoo done. And his throat tattoo is a revamped look on the Hellfire Club logo.
So cool.
That is like the red demon face. And yeah, it's again insane. Apparently, though, that one was the most painful tattoo yet, with
Yeah.
a brutal healing process, 4 nights of almost 3 hours of sleep. So
Oh,
I'm gonna say no to a neck tattoo for me.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good call, man.
But I mean, it's worth it if you would ask me because it's insane and it's just like I feel like for him, Stranger Things is such a big part of his personality.
Yes.
So to have those tattoos so prominent, that's so cool. He also has a sleeve of Stranger Things tattoos on his right leg going all the way up to his thigh, which
That's so cool.
insane. Then we literally had some people from all over the world also write in, including FP, who is from Brazil, who also has Eddie's bats tattooed. This was FP's first fandom tat, even though they have a lot of tattoos. And I loved that they shared with us just kind of the process of how they decided to get the tattoo, including just a lot of emotions about Eddie's journey with his lost sheeps and not being a coward and hating the death, but knowing that when he died from the bats, it was a sacrifice and he was proving a point to himself that he never was a coward. But FP also shared why the bats were specifically meaningful to them, including that they represented freedom, owning your own body, and that they feel more of themselves with the bats, which I just think is really beautiful. FP said that they don't feel like Eddie's bats that they have tattooed. They feel like their bats. Okay, so someone else who wrote in was Emma, and Emma has an Eddie Munson tattoo. And she said that the minute she set eyes on him, she fell in love with his character. And just like him, she was the freak in high school, got bullied for being different and liking different things, music, and etc. So obviously resonated with his character a lot, which I feel like was definitely a universal experience for a lot of people. And that was why she wanted to get him tattooed. So alongside the tattoo of Eddie, which is a really cool black and white with him doing the devil horns in the cafeteria, she also got the quote, "This year is my year."
Oh, I love that.
Really sweet. Thank you so much for sharing that, Emma.
Absolutely.
We also had Christina write in from Scotland.
Oh, this was cool.
It is a Demogorgon crawling out of a Polaroid. I'm just obsessed with it. It says the upside down. It has some Christmas lights, a rose, it looks like, and just like some pretty flowers around it. And it's also like a lot of line work and black with like pops of color. Then, speaking of again, all over the world, we had Cody, whose tattoo artist is out of Zimbabwe.
So cool.
And Cody's tattoo is Max Mayfield from the cemetery scene on their left calf. It's kind of the outline from the back of Max floating. And they haven't added like the tombstone, Dustin, Steve, and Lucas yet, but they are thinking about it. Either way, I think it's incredible. Such a powerful moment. I know that's one of your favorite moments, Stacy.
Of all time. And this artist really knocked it out of the park using mostly just black and just the actual like flesh tone of their skin as the highlights. It's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Finally, we had two other people who, like Jerry, have tattoos from Hannah Lee Tattoos.
So cool.
We are hoping to be able to get to talk to Hannah Lee at some point because she is just a fantastic artist out of Manchester, England, and does a lot of fandom tattoos. But Catherine has an Eddie Munson portrait done in the style of a tarot card where Eddie is the hero. The tattoo concept was an original idea. It actually inspired Hannah to create other tarot tattoos for other Stranger Things characters.
That's really cool.
Also, kind of the inspiration for her commissioned free print that was included with the Eddie Loungefly. So I don't know if you remember this, Stacy. So the Eddie Loungefly that came out, they were selling it from Get Ready Comics, and one of Hannah's prints was actually included with the bag, which is just
that
super
is so cool.
And that's really cool that Catherine was like the original one who wanted Eddie with this tarot card idea, and her tattoo is just stunning.
That is beautiful. They do such a great job with portraits, and I always say that especially Joseph Quinn, he has very, very distinct features. That's why I think it's kind of hit or miss with a lot of the action figures that have come out with him lately. And, you know, you see some artwork that kind of looks like him, some not even close, some of it absolutely breathtaking. This tattoo artist, you can tell, is amazing at portraits because this literally looks like a photograph of Joseph Quinn.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then Hannah Lee does amazing portraits, but Becca also has an Eddie and a Steve by the amazing Hannah. But these are the kind of like outline without the actual face.
Yes.
Steve with the bat.
I love that style. It's so simplistic, but it's so good, you know?
The name tag. And of course, the lines of his hair just are so accurate. Both
Mhm.
of them, Eddie and Steve, both have amazing hair, obviously, but like the way Hannah Lee captures it with just like this line work is really cool.
Beautiful.
I mean, Eddie also has the bats and the D&D dice and the Hellfire Club shirt. So yeah, I'm obsessed with these tattoos, obsessed with Hannah Lee. I wish I could like, fly to England to get a tattoo from
Go
her.
across the pond, get a
Yeah.
tattoo.
I mean, I feel like it would be worth it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so we just really appreciate everyone who wrote in to tell us about their tattoos. And
You know what I hope? I hope that, guys, if you continue to get Stranger Things tattoos or you add on to your pieces, please feel free to send them in because we really love seeing them.
yeah, we will definitely maybe have to do sort of another round of this in the future.
Yeah.
That would be super cool. And we'll share them. So, yeah, let us know, keep us posted. And this whole process has been so fun to connect with everyone over their
Mm,
tattoos. So I think that's it for
that's
today.
it, man. But
This, like I said, has been a blast
yeah.
talking to everyone, and we hope everybody enjoyed hearing about all of these amazing tattoos.
And I hope you got some inspiration, Megan, because the peer pressure is on.
I know. I have a lot of ideas. Like I said, I'm so indecisive, but we'll get there.
We'll get there.
All right. So thank you so much for tuning in for this tattoo conversation. Please make sure that you find us on social media. We're at Skull Rock Broadcast, pretty much anywhere on social media. If you enjoyed this show and enjoyed listening to us talk to each other, talk to some other guests, make sure that you tune into some of our other episodes because we always have such a blast talking to each other about the show, but also connecting with lots of really great guests on our show as well. So we would love also if you would rate and review, follow, subscribe, do all of the things. It really helps us and it makes us happy. So thank you again so much for listening. I'm also Steady Stories on Instagram and social media, and Stacy is Stay Still Reviews. So
You
come
got
talk
it.
to us. All right, over and out.
Over and out.
Eddie, I'm not sure I love the idea of you driving.
Well, I'm starting to suck her. Harrington's got her. Don't you, big boy?
All right, we are back for a secret segment. And for our secret segment today, we're doing it a little bit differently because we are not going to be talking about what we've been reading this week, but we did want to talk about a steady tattoo. So this tattoo is Anne, who is
Steady 1986.
yes. So Anne is just a delightful member of the steady community.
Mhm.
And a lot of our tattoos that we talked about were Steve Harrington, Eddie Munson. I know we have a lot of those fans who tune into our podcast and who have gotten tattoos based on that. But this tattoo that we're going to talk about, Anne's tattoo, is specifically from a steady fan fiction. And it is a fan fiction that both Stacy and I have read as well. So this tattoo is a bottle cap.
That's a beautiful color tattoo. Like,
It is absolutely
wow.
gorgeous. The gold of it. And if you have read Your Divine, you will understand.
Mhm.
So Your Divine, Onion Chiver, one of our favorite fan fictions. And it looks like a sun, like the bottle cap looks like a
Yes.
sun
Yeah.
with the sparkles. Like I just am so in awe of how the sparkles are kind of captured in
Mhm.
the tattoo. But underneath of the bottle cap, it says sunshine and little bit. So
Aw.
in Onion Chiver Fix, there's always really cool nicknames that they kind of give each other.
Mhm.
These are some of the nicknames for the characters in You're Divine. Anne shared that she fell in love with Eddie immediately. Anne is also a huge fan, just like us, of steady fan art and steady fan fiction. She said that she started with Flight Risk by A's and Cleo, which she now considers a classic. And have you read Flight Risk?
Not yet, but I really want to.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Eddie's a rock star. Very cool. And I
Oh.
love A's and Cleo so much. They're amazing. And then she saw people talking about You're Divine, which is by Onion Chiver, Asriel, one of our favorites. And she hit it hard. There were about 5 long chapters out by then. And oh my gosh, this is impressive. Anne read them all in one sitting.
Wow.
That would be like an emotional roller coaster. It took
Yeah.
me months to finish Your Divine because I had to take breaks. It was intense,
It's
but
heavy.
it's such a heart-wrenching story is what she said, which I completely agree. Really hit her emotionally. Chapter 6 really finished her, the quarry scene, which
Yeah, if you know, you know.
yeah. So to end at that chapter, like I can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
So she said she remembers standing in the shower and sobbing her heart out. Never been touched by a story as strongly as that. Completely relate. She knew she needed a permanent reminder. So once the story was complete, she got in touch with Asriel, who is Onion Chiver, and asked if she could make a physical copy of the story. And she was gracious enough to send her the PDF. She also talked to her about getting a tattoo, and she wanted to get the bottle top with their names. She wanted to get the color right, so she found a tattoo artist, Kelly Moon Tattoos, and shared that Kelly is a lovely tattooist, but she hadn't watched Stranger Things. She was intrigued by the steady fandom and had a great time coming up with the look. And it says that this was actually the first time she had done this like sparkle effect.
Damn, she knocked it out of the park.
Absolutely. It is beautiful. This is just such a cool story because I feel like we relate so much to this. Onion Chiver in general, like their fics just rip your heart out, and we are in the middle of one of their fics right now
We
and
are.
just in it really deep. So it's kind of emotional to talk about that since I'm actually like considering getting a tattoo that's sort of inspired by that as well. So we did ask Anne the other questions. This was not her first tattoo. She does have one other. It's a beautiful tattoo as well. She sent us a picture. It actually hurt a lot less than she thought, more like a scratching sunburn. But when he added the white, that was painful, like up to like a 7 on our scale.
Yikes.
Somebody else did say that the color kind of hurts a little bit more.
Yeah, they got to get it in there. So it's a little, and also usually the color is the last thing and the white's the last thing, the highlight. So by then you're just spent.
She said that the bottle cap was about like a 3 going up to a 5 when the white was added. So on her wish list now is to get another steady tattoo by Hannah Lee Tattoos. And we have definitely seen her fantastic Eddie portraits. We've seen some great Steve tattoos all over social media and had the chance to talk to some people who have tattoos by Hannah Lee. And shared that she wants something that's not obviously steady, but if you're in the fandom, you'll know.
Yeah.
That's sort of like how I feel. I kind of want something that's not obviously steady, but I know it's steady. Like, I don't even need the fandom to understand. It just is personal for me.
As long as you know. Yep.
Yeah. That is our little secret segment today. We really appreciate Anne writing in and sharing her tattoo story with us as well, so we could talk about that on our steady segment.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, I think we are really done this time. So thank you so much for listening, and we will talk to you next week. Over and out.
Over and out.
Thank you.